What's up guys, Riley here from RP Productions, and today I'm making a 1-year ownership review video of my 2014 Dodge Charger RT with the Blacktop package. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've owned the car for about 11 months now, so I'm coming up just shy of 1 year, and I've put about 12,000 miles onto it. And I've invested $1,560 into aftermarket parts and little things here and there. So I'm not really going to go into too much detail about what I've done to the car. I'm just going to talk about what all has happened this past year and my thoughts on everything about the car. So first off, I will say that if you're going to get a Dodge Charger, at least in my opinion, you got to do 3 things. Thing number 1, get a black grille. To me, that just sets the whole aggressiveness from the car, from the front, and it just looks really, really mean up there and looks so clean, I guess. Thing number 2, black wheels. Doesn't really matter what type of wheels they are, just if they're black, in my opinion, it looks a lot better. I know a bunch of people like the chrome, but chrome is not really my thing. I'm more of a blacked out kind of guy. Thing number 3, add a spoiler. To me, it makes a huge difference in the way it looks from the rear. I think it just kind of sets it off from the rear, so you got the rear covered with the spoiler, sides covered with the black wheels, and the front covered with the black grille. So those 3 things, in my opinion, of course yours may be different, those are my 3 things on how you get your Charger to look a whole lot better. A simple little mod that you can do for about 60 bucks, 50 bucks ish, is paint your calipers. To me, it makes it look really cool with that red back there behind the black wheel, and I really like the way that turned out. So I got mine from G2. It's G2 caliper paint. You can Google that, and it's really not that hard to do, and they have a whole lot of color options, and so I would definitely recommend doing that. And yeah. So while I'm on the topic of brakes, these brakes are actually really good. I was kind of surprised. The front calipers are pretty large and bring you to a stop fairly quickly. The rear calipers are not the biggest. Let's see if I can get you a view. They're not giant, but most of the braking is done in the front anyways, so the front brakes kind of take care of most of that brute force from braking. Another mod that I did, which I would highly recommend everybody doing, is changing every light bulb to an LED bulb. So those, and these in the back seat. There's also some lights underneath the doors, which you can kind of see them shining through. There's lights in the trunk, lights in the mirrors that pull down. I think that's about it. But yeah, I would say investing that money into putting LED lights in just makes it look a lot better, and it really helps out at night. These black wheels, I like them a lot. The only thing I do not like about them is that they're only 8 inches wide. So they're 20 by 8, and so you're kind of limited on what tire size you can run. These are the standard 245, 45, 20s that came with the car. And I would like to run 275s in the rear, but I can't do that on these wheels, so I'd have to get different wheels, and I really don't want to go through all that hassle because I really like the way these wheels look. But while I'm on the topic of wheels, these tires, which are the Firestone Firehawk GT performance tires, they are not the greatest. I do not like them. They do okay, but you can get much better, and they're not wearing too well. I've got about 12,000 miles on the car, and these are the front tires. It's kind of hard to pick it up on the camera, but they've seen their better days, and I will be replacing those quite soon, probably with some Nittos, but I'm not quite sure yet. So the transmission on this car, it's a 5-speed automatic. It's okay. A lot of people on the internet are going to bash on it and say that it's clunky, which it can be. It's not terrible, but you know, Dodge could have done better with it. I know the 2015s have the new 8-speed, which I've heard nothing but great things about. The 5-speed is okay. If you have the optional paddle shifters, which this car does, it's actually pretty responsive, and I tend to do that quite a bit when I'm doing any type of spirited driving. So I would recommend getting those if you can. But the 5-speed automatic, it's okay. It's definitely not a deal breaker, and it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but it could be better. The car actually handles better than you thought better than you would think it would, excuse me. For a 4,200 pound giant sedan with a huge engine in the front, you wouldn't think it could take corners very well. But even with these not so good tires, it corners fairly well, and there's not too much body roll to it, and it's overall really enjoyable and makes back road driving really fun. And it's, you know, you would think that all this is good for is driving fast in a straight line, which it does that pretty darn well, but back roads are still tons of fun in this car. The leather on the interior is a high quality leather. I have the cloth seats, so I'm not really talking about the seats. What I'm talking about is this leather over here on the side. So you have this nice leather siding on the doors, and this up here is a soft leather. Also the middle armrest, that's a soft leather. So everywhere where your arms and hands rest, it's nice and comfortable, and Dodge really did a great job with their leather usage, I guess. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes here. The seats could be better. I have the cloth seats. They are okay. They don't have too much side support or hip support, but they're pretty comfortable. Doing long road trips in this car is really easy and actually pretty comfortable. I've put a lot of road trips onto this car, and all of them have been quite enjoyable. The steering wheel is another thing that I will go ahead and knock it for. It's just perfectly round. I wish it had some little notches at 9 and 3. It still has a nice grip to it. It's still comfortable, but I wish it was more sporty, I guess. It doesn't look like the sportiest. They just kind of threw one out of the V6 base model and threw it in here and called it quits. I like the paddle shifters though, and all the buttons on the steering wheel are quite nice and easy to use. The Uconnect system is also easy to use. I like the gauge cluster. Everything about this interior it's pretty darn good. I really can't complain too much about anything in here. The heated seats, the heated cloth seats work pretty well. I tried it out a few times here and there during winter, and they would get nice and toasty fairly quickly. So if you're somewhere that lives up in the north and you're wanting heated seats, I would definitely say these work really well. I live in Texas where it's not really cold, so don't use that too often. The Beats audio, this one has the optional Beats audio system, which comes with this 8-inch sub in the back, and I believe there's 10 speakers in the cabin part of the car. It's pretty good. I really enjoy mine. At first I wasn't too sure about it. I was like, oh, Beats sound system, I guess it'll be okay. But it's actually really, really good, and I was quite surprised. Here's those LED lights in the trunk that I was talking about. There's one on each side. Well, I guess while I'm at it, trunk space in this car, it's pretty good. I've never really needed any more space. I don't know why you would. If you do, those seats in the back fold down, and it's overall pretty good sized. Okay, this is a good one. Black paint. If you're gonna buy a black car, any car, doesn't matter what type, if you buy it in black, get ready for a headache if you're trying to keep it clean. I washed this car 2 days ago, and the camera's really not gonna pick it up, but in person, you can see every little thing of dirt and dust on it, every swirl from doing car washes, and just every little thing shows on this car. And I'm a neat freak, so that really drives me crazy. My paint's still in pretty good shape, although it could be better in some spots, but black paint is a real pain in the ass to take care of. So with that said, if you don't really care and you just want your car to be like fairly clean, sure, go ahead. Or if you like a challenge of keeping yours clean, go ahead. But for me, this is probably going to be the last black car that I own, just because of how difficult keeping this thing clean is and how much of a neat freak I am. Also, while I'm at it, the interior on this car, it gets dirty really quickly. Floor mats, the seats, everywhere you touch, the doors, everything just finds a way to get dirty really quickly. And, you know, that bothers me. So another upgrade I would do is I would throw some louder exhaust on here. I'll go ahead and start mine up so you can hear it. I'll also link you to an exhaust video, which you can click that link. But here is what it sounds like. This is a warm start. So there you go. It's click the link right there and that'll tell you everything you need to know about that exhaust. But I like it. I think that loud exhaust on a Hemi V8 is just kind of one of those things that's necessary. And to me, it really makes driving this car a lot of fun. I'll go ahead and bash it for the chrome headlights. I wish they were not chrome. They look okay. And I like the HIDs, but I wish the housing itself was not chrome. I wish it was black. Also, these little orange side markers on the side, I wish those weren't all integrated into one giant piece. I wish they were like little side markers they could have threw down there or something. So I'm probably gonna experiment with blacking those out with some 3M vinyl, but we'll have to see how that turns out. But HIDs work really good. I've also put aftermarket daytime running lights, which are LEDs, you can see them right there, and LED fog lights, which I'll have a video of what this car looks like at night with all the stuff that I've done to it. But overall, I like the headlights. I just really wish they weren't chrome. I'm sure you can tell I'm not too much of a fan of chrome. The keyless entry and remote start are both amazing. I use remote start daily on this thing, and it's so helpful, especially with Texas heat and cooling off the car. Just those extra couple seconds, really. It really helps out a lot. And in the winter, heating the car up, it's just really nice. I know a lot of people with the 2015 Mustangs have complained about their body panels not fitting perfectly flush and whatnot. These Chargers, they are just perfectly flush everywhere. Everything fit together perfectly. It's a great little puzzle piece, and Dodge's build quality it's up there. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm at kind of a loss for words of how good everything is on such a inexpensive car. And I guess lastly, I'll go ahead and finish it off by saying there's no rattles or squeaks, which I'm kind of surprised about. Usually with a car, especially in the $30,000 price range, would have some type of rattle or squeak, but I've been lucky to not have any, and it's pretty great. So I'm giving another +1 to Dodge on their build quality. Go ahead and show off my engine. Here's kind of a little funny thing. Maybe somebody knows about this more than I do. I've installed a Billet technology oil catch can, and as you can see, one of the lines that comes out interferes with the post where your engine cover would normally sit. So that's just kind of a funny little flaw. I guess if you run a catch can, you can't have your engine cover on. Maybe somebody can chime in and explain to me if I need to do something with these hoses or get different hoses or what to do about that. But I've also put in a cold air intake. It's an air raid cold air intake. It probably increased my throttle response. Not sure if it did anything really to the sound, maybe a little bit louder. But I mainly did it for the throttle response. Not too much noticeable on the gas mileage or horsepower. I'm sure it did maybe a little something, but I haven't dynoed this thing, so I'm not really sure. So yeah, guys, overall, this has been a great car for me. I've really enjoyed this past year with it, and I'm looking forward to many more. Definitely, I would say I'm a Dodge loyalist for the rest of my life after owning this thing. And I mean, it's just an overall great package, and for the price, nothing really can beat it. I was between this 2014 Mustang or 2014 Camaro. To me, the Mustangs are cheaply built on the inside, and the Camaros, I wasn't really a huge fan of them, and I like the interior on the Chargers more, and I like having 4 doors, so that's why I went with the Charger. But overall, I would love this car and would definitely recommend them to anybody looking to get one. My year of owning this car has been flawless so far, and like I said, I look forward to many more. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Take it easy.